Alright, so as we make this butternut squash soup, really looking for a nice flavor profile here. So I'm just going to take a little bit of coconut oil, and my temperature is on medium, not quite medium low, but it's on a medium, just about medium I guess is fine. What you want to do with that, I already went ahead and julienne. If you guys remember your terms from the other day, julienne just means to cut into thin strips. Alright, so I did that with the onions just to let them break down a little bit and cut them fairly thin. I really like these plastic cutting boards. So as you can see, I have to just pick them up and place them right back down. So that's good. You can kind of see the onions right there. We just want to cook them till they're translucent. We're going to let those cook for a little bit on medium heat. And just don't want them to brown too much. So if you see them starting to brown, just cut your heat down some. Right, so I'm going to add a carrot because the carrot is part of the traditional mirepoix, which is a French term that we use. Onion, celery, carrots that we typically use for the base of a lot of French cooking. In Creole style cooking or New Orleans cooking, a lot of times it'll be bell pepper, and that'll usually replace the carrots. Celery and onions is what you'll have. So with the carrots, I just cut them into quarters, lengthwise, and I'm going to just cut those. Right, always keep those fingers tucked too. So carrots take a little bit longer to break down, so I'm cutting them a little bit smaller, not necessarily in strips. I'll probably end up pureeing this soup down since it's a butternut squash soup, non-dairy. Probably be 100% vegan, just because we can. Also, whenever cleaning off your knife, always go down towards the blade, not up. That's how you prevent injuries. So I'm gonna go ahead and get those carrots in. Allow those to start sweating as well. Like I said, you can just, that's a good non-stick action right there when you do that. But I will go ahead and get my little wooden spoon out. So you do have some of the onions trying to brown, some of the smaller cut ones, and that's fine. They are going to puree, so it won't be too bad. Alright, so I'm just going to set that right there. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and start breaking down the butternut squash. One thing I always tell my students is if you have something that's round, you want to get it to not roll, and that's a safety measure in the kitchen. Right, so we want to square things off as much as possible to help us. Alright, so I'm going to take off the ends and really push down on that. You always want to start with your tip towards the board and then push through, right? Push through your arm and come down. Alright, so the strength of the knife is going to be closest to your hand. This here, that groove is there for you to place your fingers. This is the bolster area that balances the weight. So this is something you always want to do. Now from here, I could break it down again in half so it's easier to work with. All right, and it's a little bit tougher. Butternut squash is pretty solid. So now it's a little bit easier for me to work with. So I'm going to go ahead and break down these butternut squash and get those in just a second. But one thing you want to do, similar to a pineapple, right? Just want to cut along the skin. All right, in culinary school, our goal is to, and in the restaurant industry, our goal is to keep as much yield, as much usable waste as possible. All right, so you can do that. Unfortunately, this doesn't peel as nicely as a carrot because it's a little bit tougher. Most of the squash family is like that. You're not just going to be able to use a peeler on it unless you cook them first, which is an option too. I could have roasted these and then finished off the soup, but I'm going a more traditional method right now. All right, took those pieces off there. All right, just slide that out your way for now. All right, so this one, the cool thing I like about these, all right, you got your seeds there, so we'll keep that out the way, and I'll show you guys how to clean that up in a second. Just want to go ahead and get this broken down too. You can always drop your heat. Stir. You gotta be able to multitask in the kitchen. That's one thing that makes a great chef. You gotta be able to multitask. All right, so come with that. Just one more time. You want to use the more so the tip area of your blade so you can have more control. If you come up here, you'll end up cutting through with the top portion of your blade, so you want to use the tip of it just to kind of work through. All right. And get to that, and then a little bit of this. We're almost done here, guys. All right, so I'm probably going to do, like I said, a few more of these, and just clean that up a little bit. If it sticks, remember, always go towards the blade, not up against it. Always go down. So we clean that up pretty nice. All right, if you got a little white on there, that's okay. It's just more nutrients. Okay? Be careful, don't try that at home.